Yash, am I audible? Hi, Ishan. Am I audible, Ishan? Am I audible? Can somebody like just at least type a message? Sai. Oh, okay. Am I audible, children? Can you guys please tell me if I'm audible? Okay. Good morning, Sai. Sai, like, am I audible? Can you guys tell me? Audible? Ishan, Yash, or Sri? Are you there? Like, am I audible? Just can you tell me? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Yash is telling you are audible. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that. Fine, children. So today's activity is a very critical one, which is like one of my favorite activities. It might be a very simple thing, but there's a lot to learn from it. Okay, there's a lot to learn from this activity. So can anybody tell me like which are the critical like internal organs, critical internal organs of our body? Type. internal organs of our body. Sai and Ishan, can you just type in like which class you guys are in? Okay, Ishan is in 7th. Okay. Sai, can you just type which class you're in? Okay, guys, I'll just pick the material and then you can start. Okay, but I'm still in. Okay, so yes, she's in 8th. Okay, am I audible? Okay, good. Okay, so but you guys did not type in the critical internal organs. So internal organs of our body. Okay, okay. Somebody's telling it's the brain. Okay, I agree with that. That's one thing. So there are like few more critical organs. The critical organs are there are 5 important critical organs. Brain, I'll just pick it from what Yesh said. Okay, and then we have heart, then lungs, liver, and kidney. Okay, so these are the 5 critical organs that can ensure that like we are alive. Being healthy is different thing, but for being healthy we need to be alive, right? So these are the 5 internal organs that keeps us alive. Okay, so today we are going to build something, one of the internal organs, and try to understand how it works. Okay, we are going to build a lung model. Okay, for building a lung model, like I have some material with me. Okay, is there some other answer? No, there's no other answer. Okay, so this I call it as the Y tube. Okay, so Y tube I inserted through this jar. It's hard for me because my hand is big. Okay, so let's see. Okay, okay, so I was able to insert it here. Oh, sorry, before inserting, we should have done something. Sorry. Pulling it out is a tricky thing. Okay. Yeah. So all these components, like you have it in the PrayogPeti box. Okay, what I'm going to do is, so there's one balloon here. I'm going to tie it to one side of the Y tube. So you would have guessed what the role of the balloon, but you would be amazed of like how it would work. Okay, one side I finished, and now I'm going to the other side. I'm running both sides now. Now I'm going to insert it back again. Okay, so this is one, and you see that it's so. But I'm going to do some preparation for this. This thing is the clay. Around the Okay, I put the clay here. So you guys can do a guess of why I put the clay here. Okay, that's the purpose why I put this. Okay, so you guys can do a guess and let me know. Another thing I'm going to do is I need a scissor. Okay, I found it. Okay, there's a bigger balloon which I am going to cut. I'm going to cut and I'm going to put this. It's coming off, so I put it again. The tricky step, because if you stretch too much, the balloon will tear. Okay, I believe this is strong enough. Okay. So now you can see what would happen. I pull this, you see that the airs are getting filled into the balloons inside. I release, the air went out. Pull it, the air comes in, the air goes out. Okay, it's like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay. So one thing is surely the physics of how this is working. Okay. So exactly in our body as well, like we have the exactly the same arrangements. So this particular thing which is there, we call it as a diaphragm. Okay, diaphragm is there. Oh, sorry, children, I just got a call. Okay, so even in our body, we basically have this. Have exactly the same arrangement. This green color balloon which I am putting. So this we call it as the diaphragm, which is there exactly like below our lungs. Okay. So what happens is when the diaphragm goes, it's not that the lungs inhale and exhale, but the physics of it. Okay. The diaphragm, when the diaphragm goes down, the air fills in. When the diagram comes out, the air goes out. Okay, it's like, yeah, inhale when the diaphragm comes down, exhale when the diaphragm goes up. Okay, it's not that the lungs which is basically comes what which blows up and like then compresses, blows up and compresses, but it is the diaphragm that is there below our lungs. So that is basically that fills in the air and like pushes it out. Okay, that it's a diaphragm movement that does this inhale and exhale. Okay, good. So that's the reason. So many times what happens is that some people feel breathlessness when there is like when they have like when their stomach is filled up with gas. Because what happens is this diaphragm is just above the stomach. If the stomach basically becomes full, so it basically disturbs the movement of this diaphragm. Okay, so and other thing is that's the whole reason you should not eat stomach full, because when you eat like when your stomach becomes tight, it basically stops or it affects the movement of this diaphragm, because this diaphragm is exactly there between the lungs and the stomach. Okay, that's the reason it's like important that you don't eat like tight stomach. Second thing is when there is gastric. When there is gastric also, like there's a problem that some people feel like breathlessness. Okay, so that's because there is no space for this like diaphragm to like go down and come up. I audible? Okay, I think now I am audible. Okay, good. So this is still the physics part of it, like, or like trying to understand how this happens. Okay, but there is like something beyond this. So internet. Okay, good. So can anybody tell me, like, now that like we have more people, Ojas and Veeras also joined, can you tell me what is the source of energy for us? Anybody tell what is the source of energy for us? Good, fantastic, amazing, great answer. So who did? Veer. Okay, good. Okay, food is the source of energy for us. Okay, we eat food, but important thing is, in spite of eating food, like they eat just food is not sufficient. I know we require like vitamin D, nutrients, and everything. So, but basically, all are those things are intaken, right? We intake it. Okay, then there is a process of extracting energy from this, from the food. Okay, this process of extracting from the food will happen only if there is oxygen. For example, so like we require oxygen for combustion. Combustion in the sense, suppose you want to like ignite something. So for ignition, you basically require oxygen. Without active oxygen, there cannot be fire. Okay. So similarly, even for our body, so there's a process of combustion that might happen. Okay. So where because of that process, the energy get produced from the food we eat, from the food we eat. Okay. For that process to happen, we require oxygen. Okay. So many times what happens, especially during the COVID and all, what happened? People had a lot of lung infections. Then what happened? The lung infection directly affected the requirement of oxygen, or the so it, so the lungs were not are not able to supply the amount of oxygen that is required for the body to produce the energy. Okay, so what happens? See, everything. See, you can just think of the human body to be in like computer. Okay, so in the computer you have CPU. CPU requires power to work. So then the computer has hard disk. Hard disk requires power to work. Okay, then you have the screen or the monitor, and that requires power to work. So everything, every component requires power to work. Similarly, even in our body, like all these organs, they require power to work. Okay, for example, the brain to be active, it requires power, energy. It requires energy. So for the heart to continuously pump blood, it requires energy. And for the liver and kidney to like sort of purify the blood, again they require energy. So if the lungs doesn't supply enough energy, enough oxygen, so then enough energy is not produced. That is, the required energy is not produced. So at least it should produce for our body to stay alive. It should at least produce the energy so that these critical organs are continuously functioning. That's very important. Until these organs are supplied with sufficient energy, so until these organs are supplied with sufficient energy, so will not be able to sustain the body or sustain the life. So that's the whole reason we need to do take care of the lungs. Lungs is a very 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 critical organ. So we need to take care of the lungs. Then, like of course, we know that there is a lot of breathing exercises that can increase the capacity of lungs. So increasing the capacity of lungs means that you are able to supply lots and lots of oxygen for the body to produce energy. Okay, so it's producing energy and keep all the life-saving organs, that is the critical organs, alive. Okay, so so that's very very important that we protect our like lungs. Okay, especially people who do smoking and all, like when when their lungs gets infected, no, they will never ever recover. Okay, so that's a important thing we need to learn, that like keeping the lungs healthy is like very very important for us to like sustain. But this is a very simple activity. I think Ojas and Veer came little late. Guys, I haven't done anything great. So there is something called as a Y tube here. Okay, Y tube is like one one pipe gets divided into two branches, and those two branches are basically put the rubber band balloon, tied it using the rubber band, and then at the bottom I put a bigger balloon which we call it as the diaphragm. Okay, so even in our body we have this diaphragm. Okay, only when the diaphragm goes down and up, the inhale and exhale process will happen. Okay, so this is very simple for you guys to do. I'd be happy in case you guys repeat this. Okay, so like the diaphragm comes down, so inhaling happens. Diaphragm goes up, exhaling happens. Okay, it's not just the lungs alone. We have that wrong idea that lungs alone is just automatically blows up and compresses. Not that. Okay, so it is the diaphragm that makes the lungs to like blow and like compress. Okay, so it's like the diaphragm goes wrong, the air is filled into the lungs. So when the diaphragm comes out, the air goes out. Okay, so in between the inhale and exhale, the process of extracting oxygen happens. Okay, so okay, children. So any doubts you can ask me. Anybody who has a doubt? Okay, fine, children. So this activity, it's pretty simple. You guys try it on your own. So if you have that PrayogPeti box, then that's the best thing that can happen, because so that box has all these small components that is required for like building up this activity. Good, children. So like see you all in the next class with another activity. So next class, like most of the case, we'll be building a stethoscope. That's a very simple thing, but will speak about the science behind how it works. Okay, so that's the important part of this session. Not just building it, but like we also discuss about the science and also the importance of that particular equipment. Okay, fine, children. Okay, then see you.